Government of India Act 1995 itself means that the act was passed in the year 1935. So this act was one of the longest act, which is also known as Government of India Act 1935 as well as Burma Act. So later on that was removed. So in this act consists of 321 sections. And you tell me, 10 schedule. Act consists of 321 sections and 10 schedules. Just for your general information and for your general knowledge, just I'm giving you this information. 321 sections and 10 schedules. So now let us down. What was the background under which this act was passed? What was the need for passing this act? So as I told you that Simon Commission has already submitted the report. So on the basis of that, let me tell you. Now, first one, there was a growing demand. In India, that was a phase of national movement. Non-cooperation movement had already been taken place. Then again, civil disobedience movement already has taken place. And during the phase of civil disobedience movement, second round table conference was attended by Gandhiji. So all these things were going on in the background. So there was a growing demand of constitutional reforms in India by the Indian leaders. What type of demand? Constitutional reforms. They wanted constitutional reforms. So for that, this act was to be passed, and this was expected by the Indian leaders. The second one is that India's support. That means during the First World War, which started in 1914, during the First World War, Indians supported the British government. During the time, they did not make the administration of the British government in India difficult. They did not protest much. They supported the British government. They were of the opinion that this is not the right time to disturb the British government when they are involved in the war. So that is also there. India's support to Britain in the First World War. They supported Britain in the First World War. And this also made the Britishers or the British Parliament to acknowledge the Indians with the act, where maximum involvement of the Indians should be there in the administration. They must be given, they must be allowed to participate in the functioning of the government. So for that, constitutional reforms were to be brought. So for that, this is the background. Now the third one, let me tell you, which you all know about it. Third one is the act was completely based on Simon Commission. You might have heard about Simon Commission. So act was completely based on, number 3, act was based on Simon. Act was based on, Simon. So act was based on Simon Commissions. Simon Commission was sent to India to prepare the report. So he prepared report and submitted, and on the basis of the report, now this act was to be finalized. So Simon Commission report. As you all know that during the arrival, when Simon Commission arrived in India, let me tell you in short about Simon Commission. Simon Commission consisted of 7 members. Out of 7, all the 7 members were completely white. There was no single Indian member in the commission. That is why everywhere boycott and protest was going on. The day Simon Commission landed, from that day onward, hartals and demonstrations started. Wherever Simon Commission visited or reached, they were greeted with black flag and all, written on that flag, "Go back Simon" and all. So in one such instance which took place in Lahore, that means Lala Lajpat Rai, he was hit by a lathi during that moment. There was the situation went out of control, and police had to order for a lathi charge, and during the lathi charge, Lala Dutta was hit by a lathi, and due to that scummed injury, later on he died. So all this happened during the coming of Simon Commission. Simon Commission, when they came, wherever they went, protest was going on. So Simon Commission anyhow prepared the report and submitted. So this act was, the Government of India Act 1935 was completely based on the report submitted by Simon Commission. So why Simon Commission was sent to India? Simple. Simon Commission was sent to India in order to investigate the working of the Government of India Act 1919. So already before 1935 the act was introduced, 1919. So whether that act is okay or not, any changes are required in the act or not, for that they had come for the investigation. So that if the act is okay, we'll continue with the same act with little changes in that. So for that, so Government of India Act 1919 was investigated. So for that, Simon Commission was sent to India. So Sir John Simon was the head of the commission. So on the basis of that, the entire commission name was named on his name, Simon Commission. Sir John Simon was the head of the 7 members team who was sent to India. So this is the background. This is the background. And the Simon Commission submitted the report in the round table conference, and the recommendation in the round table conference was done. What to do? In the first round table conference, as I told you earlier, it was completely a failure because Gandhiji, that means Congress did not, there was no representation of the Congress in the round table conference, so completely a failure. So later on, Lord Irwin thought that without the presence of a larger body in the conference, it is useless. That is why he decided to meet with Gandhiji, and when they meet, the result was Gandhi-Irwin Pact. So in that, Gandhiji agreed to attend the second roundtable conference. So this way, second roundtable conference also was a failure, and finally, result is the Government of India Act 1935. Now, let us discuss about the features, some of the important features of the Government of India Act 1930. So, the first important features of the Act is, the Act established a federation. Act established a Federation of India. Act established a Federation of India, which was made of 11 provinces of British India. 11 provinces of British India. Direct rule of the British in this region, British India. And 6 Chief Commissioner province. The provinces controlled by the Commissioner. And the third one is the princely states. Let me tell you what is princely states. You know that before the independence, there are 565 princely states. And these princely states were the states ruled by the Raja Maharajas or princes. They were under the British government. That means these territories or these states, those were ruled by the princes, were controlled by the British government. So entire administration of the princely states looked after by the princes, but under the guidance of the British government. So they were under the British authority. So this princes, so 565 princely states were there. Example is that when India became independent, most of the states merged with princely states merged with India. 3 states were left out. I think this will make you more clear. The princely states ruled by Raja Maharajas, like Jammu Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir decided to remain independent. Hyderabad decided to remain independent. Junagadh decided to remain independent. So I think these 3 is enough to make you understand. In this way, many princely states were there, ruled by Raja Maharajas, Rajwadas were there, and all those merged later on. So during the British government, these princely states were there. Okay, that representations were done by the princely rulers. So federation was made of 11 provinces of British territory. The provinces directly. 11 provinces directly ruled by the British government, and 6 chief commissioner provinces ruled by them, and the princely states ruled by the princes. So this is about the act, the first part of the act, 11 provinces and princely states that was made a federation. Like today our country is also made of is a federation. 29 states are there, 29 states with one union that is there. Okay, so and the next one is diarchy. So let me tell you what diarchy is. The meaning of diarchy. Diarchy means dual government. From 1919 to 1935, this type of system existed in our country. Diarchy, dual government. That means two governments. That means Indians were also given the power to rule the government. They also have one power in their hand, and the most of the important powers were in the hand of the British government. Like defense, finance were controlled by them. So dual government. So dual government existed. So diarchy was at the center, and during this period in 1935, the act which was introduced it ended diarchy from the provinces. It ended diarchy, dual government from the provinces, and the provinces were given autonomy. They were given autonomy. Provincial autonomy was introduced by the Government of India Act 1935. This will I'll explain you in the last part. So let us continue with this. So diarchy was introduced at the center. So dual government at the center. At the provincial level, diarchy was abolished. So according to this feature, the act of the executive authority of the center was vested in the governor. So who was the center of power? Governor. So the executive authority was in the hand of the governor. Executive authority was in the hand of the governor, and the governor was the one appointed by the British government. So governor was not the elected one; he was appointed by the British government. So governor had the what you call it, that means he had the power in his hand. The central power was in the hand of the governor. So governor was appointed by the British Parliament, who was entrusted with all the important powers, and the ministers at the provincial level, that means provincial level, they remain in office till the pleasure of the governor. So that also we'll discuss in the next part. So diarchy was introduced at the center, which abolished provincial diarchy, and provincial autonomy was introduced. Once again, provincial autonomy was introduced, and which gave autonomy to the provinces. This I'll explain you in the last part. Okay, next. So the third one, the federal legislature. So the act introduced federation. The act of the Government of India Act 1935 introduced federation, and accordingly federal legislature also was introduced. So federal legislature, the first one we have is Council of States. The first body was known as Council of States, which was also the upper house. It was a upper house. Like at present we have Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the upper house. Same way, Council of States. And this Council of States was a permanent house. This Council of State was a permanent house. If you know about the composition and the tenure of Rajya Sabha, it will be easy for you to understand this. Council of States was similar to Rajya Sabha at present. Okay, so first one was Council of States, and this consisted of how many members? 260. It was composed of how many members? 260. 260 members, and out of 260 members, 156. Out of 260 members, 156 were represented by the British. Okay, represented by the British India. Out of 260, 156 representatives were sent by the British India. That means they represented 156 represented British India. The territory completely controlled, full control over those territories by the British government. That was known as British India. 156. And then 100. Let me tell you, 101. So 101 by the Indian states, princely states. Indian states means princely states, ruled by Raja Maharajas. Okay, so 260. So 156 represented by British India and 101 by the Indian states. Okay, there can be 3 short, but doesn't matter. So out of 156 again, 150 representation was made by British India, and 6 were nominated by the governor. 6 were nominated by the governor. So let me tell you once again, the Council of State was a permanent house. Okay, permanent house, and every third year, every third year, 1/3 of the members, okay, they retired. So every third year, 1/3 of the members retired and the new ones entered, like present Rajya Sabha. At present, only one difference is there. Here we are talking about every third year, okay, but at present, sorry, let me make it more clear. Every third year, okay. Again, you may say, sorry, made a mistake. Okay, every third year, 1/3 of the members retired. So this was all about Council of State. At present, I think you know about Rajya Sabha. Every second year, 1/3 of the members retired. So there is no much difference. Okay, that was Council of States, which was the upper house. Council of State, which was the upper house. So many of the students who will watch the video from the middle, they may think sir is teaching civics or political science. No, my dear, I am teaching some of the important features of the Government of India Act 1935. So for that, please watch the video from the beginning till the end for your proper understanding. Now next one, Assembly. Federal Assembly. First one was Council of States, and the next one is Federal Assembly. Like we have Lok Sabha at present, Lok Sabha. So this was the lower house. The Federal Assembly was the lower house. Federal Assembly was the lower house. And this lower house, as Federal Assembly, it consisted of 375. 375. How many? 375 members. So, out of 375 members, 250 represented British India. 250 represented British India, and not more than 125 represented princely states. So 375 members, 250 members were represented by the British India. That means British India was represented by 250 members, and not more than okay, not more than 125. Not more than 125 represented the princely states. Once again, princely state, British India and the princely states. Princely states ruled by the princes, Raja Maharajas. So we had so many princely states. Even today historical sites are there where whenever we go out we visit those places. Okay. Now this is all about the Federal Assembly. So first one we discussed was Council of States, and this one is Federal Assembly. So once again let me make it more federal. Okay, Federal Legislature. Legislature means law making body. Federal Legislature. Okay. So within this Federal Legislature, first one we discussed was Council of States, and the second one was Federal Assembly. So Federal Assembly, 375 members altogether, 250 represents British India, and one not more than 125 represents princely states. Okay, now next one. So the most important part as per our syllabus. As per our syllabus, provincial autonomy. Whatever we discussed, that is also for our general knowledge, that will also help us, but mostly we have to deal with provincial autonomy, because for the first time through the Act of 1935, provincial, that means provinces were given autonomic freedom. There are two types of autonomy given to the provinces. Number one, diarchy was removed. Diarchy was removed from the provinces and diarchy was taken at the center. Diarchy was taken at the center, and provinces were given autonomy. Autonomy means freedom. Now, two types of autonomy. Let me tell you. First one is the legislature, state legislature. Okay, this part also let me clear it. Provincial legislatures. Altogether, how many provinces were there? 11 provinces. Altogether, 11 provinces were there. 11. And out of this 11 provinces, altogether 11 provinces were there. Out of these 11 provinces, 6 provinces, okay, 6 provinces were bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature. Uni means one, bi means two. So bicameral legislature. So bicameral legislature which had legislative assembly. So 6 provinces had both. Number one, legislative assembly. Okay, legislative assembly, and number 2, legislative council. Legislative council. So even today in our states, in our country India, 7 states are there where bicameral legislature is there. Let us example of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, 2 houses are there. Legislative assembly is also there. Legislative council is also there. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Jammu Kashmir. Okay, so these are the states. Bihar, these are the states where both the houses are there. So bicameral. What type of legislature is there in the 6 provinces? Bicameral. Bicameral. Once again, I am not writing it over here. Bicameral. So being the political science students, you know what is the meaning of bicameral. Okay. So bicameral where 2 houses are there, both upper house and the lower house. Legislative assembly is the lower house and legislative council is the upper house. Lower house, upper house. Okay. So out of 11, at the time how many provinces were there? 11 provinces. Okay. So out of 11 provinces, 6 provinces they had bicameral legislature. Okay. Now to the point. So which were the 6? So first one was Bengal. Okay. Bengal, Bombay, Madras, Bihar, Assam and United Province. Bombay, Bengal, Assam, Madras, Bihar and United Province. So these were the states, provinces where both houses were there. Legislative assembly as well as legislative council. So once again Once again, 6 provinces where bicameral legislature was there: Bengal, Bombay, Madras, Bihar, Assam, and United Province. Okay. Now, so when we are discussing about autonomy, what type of autonomy was given? What type of autonomy was given to the provinces? That means the first important autonomy freedom given to the provinces was that in the form of a provincial legislature, that government was responsible to the provincial legislature. First important was that the provincial government at the provinces were responsible to the legislature. Responsible to the legislature, not to the British government or not to the British parliament. So they were responsible to the legislature. Number 1. Number 2, autonomy given to the provinces where they were free. Provinces were free from outside control. Provinces were free from outside means there was no control over the provincial legislature. British government they had no control, in the sense that to large extent they had no control over the British provinces. Okay, so provinces were free from outside control and interference. Okay, interference in large number of matters. In large number of matters, provinces were free. There was no control over them. So these two were autonomy. That is why provincial autonomy. First time in 1935, provincial autonomy was given. Provincial autonomy was given to the provinces. Okay. Now, let me tell you the last part. And this provincial level, who were the one elected and who elected them? How were the members elected? So it's very simple, my dear. And the provincial level, that means the members in the provincial assembly were elected by the people directly. Elected by the people directly. And who were given the franchise? Who were given the right to vote? At present, today, without discrimination, universally franchise is given to everyone who had attended the age of 18 and above. But that time, who were given the franchise? Franchise means right to vote. So the franchise during that period was based on property. Based on property. Those who had property, land, buildings, houses, whichever, okay, zamindars, landlords. So they were given the right to vote. Okay. Now the election was done direct. Limited people were given the right to vote, and the ministers were appointed by the governor, and governor was appointed by the British Parliament. So who was on the head? Governor. Governor was on the top, who had a full discretion to appoint and remove the ministers. So governors were given special powers which they could exercise before the assenting of the bills. So bills were signed by the governor. Okay, today also the same thing. At the state level, bills are signed by the governor, and at the union level, president signs the bill. And once the bill is signed by the president, it becomes an act. The same way, the provincial legislature bills were passed by the houses and was assented by the governor. So governor had full authority over the passing of the bills. So ministers were appointed by the governor and removed by the governor, and governors were aided and advised by the council of ministers. This council of ministers were the one to aid and advise the governor. So this is all about the legislature, which was completely responsible. The members, we can say that ministers of various department, they were responsible to the legislature as a whole. So they were not responsible to the British government, but they were responsible to the legislature. So to some extent, autonomy was granted to the provinces. So this is one of the most important aspects of the Government of India Act 1935. So now I think you understood it. So as per the Government of India Act, first thing what is to be done? Elections are to be conducted, right? Because the members are to be elected. Members are to be elected at the Federal Council. Okay, members are to be elected at the Federal Federal Assembly at the Union, and members are to be elected at the Legislative Assembly. So for that, elections are to be conducted. So as per this Act of 1935, so as per the Government of India Act 1935, as I was telling you, elections were to be conducted. So in the year 1937, election was conducted. Okay, election was conducted, and how many provinces are there? 11 provinces. So election was held in all the 11 provinces. Muslim League, the Congress, everyone contested the election, and finally the mandate was given to the Congress. Okay, so mandate was given to the Congress. So from here onward, there is a slight change in the political atmosphere of India, because the Muslim League, they were desperate because they could not do well in their own provinces where Muslims were in majority. So they started a propaganda that Muslims are in danger. Okay, the life of the Muslims are in danger under the Congress Raj. So this type of propaganda they started to spread among the Muslims and to bring the Muslims under their cover. So that we'll discuss in the next class. So today our main motive, or my main motive to teach this topic was to make you understand about the Act of 1935. So hopefully you might have understood today. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.